All right, welcome back. So when we left off, we were just finishing up the preterite verbs. Don't forget, guys, you're going to have a quiz over that right after homecoming, so be ready for your preterite verbs. It'll be set up like this, and you'll have to do this, and it'll be regular verbs as well as ser and ir. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is showing possession. In Spanish, apostrophes do not exist. Okay. So the way that you have to set up your showing possession is you have to say the something of someone, okay? And it has to be in that word order. So if, for example, if I wanted to say my grandparents' house, I would have to say the house of my grandparents, la casa de mis abuelos. Because de can either mean from or of. You can't say mis abuelos casa. That does not, and if you're like, oh, I'll just leave the apostrophe out and just put an S, don't do that either. It's not how Spanish works, okay? Another example, her sister's dog, you would have to say the dog of her sister, el perro de su hermana, okay? Or you can use what's called a possessive adjective, which is your, my, your, his, her, okay? It has to be set up like this, and I see the struggle a lot in Spanish too with this. Spanish 3, it's generally not as often. You guys are generally a little bit more on top of that. Okay, so the possessive adjectives look like this. So my is me or mis. Your is tu or tus. No accents on these because with the accents, they're people. So like me with the accent mark is English me. Tu with the accent mark is you, the person. Okay, for his, her, or your belonging to usted, it's su or sus. For our, it's nuestro, nuestra, nuestros, or nuestras. For y'all's belonging to vosotros, it's vuestro, vuestra, vuestros, vuestras. And for y'all belonging to ustedes or their, it's su or sus. So the third person is always the same. It's important to remember that the singular or plural is determined by the item, not the owner. So the owner tells you which of these to use. The item tells you to use this or not. So for example, if I'm talking about my cats, I'm only one person, even though I have two cats. So I'm going to use mis gatos. Okay. And then our nuestro and vuestro also have to match in gender. And again, you're paying attention to the number and gender of the item owned. This should be a C, not a V. By the way, I think it's wrong on, oh, it's fixed on your notes. Okay. So for example, like if I'm talking about our grandmother, and it doesn't matter that I only have, or that like I have primarily male cousins, our grandmother, she's feminine, or she's female, so it would be nuestra. She's also only one grandmother. It doesn't matter how many people she's the grandmother of. She belongs to us, so I'm choosing nuestro, but she's only one person. It has to be nuestra instead of nuestras. Okay. If I was talking about both of my grandmothers, it would be nuestras abuelas, but, you know, I don't generally talk about like my grandmas because they're on opposite sides of the family. So the item owned is what you base your masculine, feminine, singular, plural on. Also, with these, you're not going to use your el, la, los, las, or un, una, unos, unas. You're not going to say mis, los gatos. You're not going to say my, the cats, or nuestra la abuela, or our, the grandma. That sounds just as weird in Spanish as it does in English, so don't do that. Okay. Next thing we are going to talk about are the direct object pronouns. Direct object pronouns. Answer the question, who or what about the verb. This is one of the last things that you learned in Spanish 2 last year. Okay? It doesn't matter who's doing the action. It matters who or what the action is being done to. Okay? Your DOP is going to replace the direct object. So if you don't want to say like, I bought the shoes. I bought the shoes at the store. I bought the shoes on Tuesday. I bought the shoes for so-and-so. I bought the shoes. I bought the shoes. I bought the shoes. And you want to eventually say, I bought them. Them is the DOP. Okay? So you're never going to have a direct object and a direct object pronoun in the same sentence because the DOP replaces the direct object. Okay? In Spanish, your DOPs go directly before the conjugated verb. And I'm going to add that in here real quick because that is important. Go directly. I want it underlined. Directly before the conjugated verb. So even if it's like I didn't buy them, it's going to be no, and then your DOP, and then your verb. So directly before the conjugated verb. Okay? Your DOPs are may, te, lo, la. So if it's her, or it's an it that is feminine, like la abuela, the grandmother, it's going to be la. If it's him or an it that's masculine, like a lapis, like I have it, lo, it becomes lo. For us, it's nos. For y'all, it's os. And for them, a masculine them, it's los. For a feminine them, it's la. Okay? So you have some sentences down below. Let's figure out who or what is being verbed, who or what the verb is being done to. Bold that, underline it, highlight it, make some sort of indication on your notes. And then replace that, what you've bolded, what you've highlighted, what you've indicated, with one of these DOPs and move it before the verb. So if we look at number 1, yo compro el papel. El papel is the direct object. Who or what do I buy? A paper. When I rewrite it, instead of saying I buy the paper, it's I buy it. And this it comes, so it's like I it buy. This is where your word order in Spanish is different than your word order in English. Let's do another one. Okay. So ellos tienen la tarea. So who or what do they have? Homework. I'm going to replace la tarea. It's feminine and singular, so I'm going to replace it with la. Ellos la tienen. They have it. Let's do one more. Nosotros comimos las manzanas en el almuerzo. What did we eat? Apples. Okay. So I'm going to take this out. I'm going to replace it with las because they're feminine and plural. So we ate them yesterday. Okay. Try to do the next ones on your own. Hit pause and then hit play when you're done and we'll check your work. Look at my phone. Okay. While you guys do that. Okay, number 3. Ellos ayudan a él. They help him. They help him. Lo ayudan. So are you reading the book? Lo lees. So masculine singular becomes it. Are you reading it? Number 5. Y'all drink water. Who or what do you drink? Water. It's feminine. La bebés. Y'all drink it. Number 7. I bought the shoes. For what did I buy? The shoes. Take this los, move it here, los compré. Number 8. ¿Tienes el vestido verde? So, even though verde is describing el vestido, like, do you have the green dress? I'm not going to ask, do you have the green it? So, this whole phrase is your direct object. So, lo tienes. Do you have it? Because we're not going to include this verde in our sentence when we're rewriting with a DOP. Escribo el cuento. I write the story. Who or what do I write? The story. Lo escribo. I write it. My mom receives the money. Mi mamá recibe el dinero. Who or what does my mom receive? El dinero. Mi mamá lo recibe. My mom receives it. Number 11. Las mujeres llevan faldas nuevas. Women wear new skirts. Who or what do they wear? The new skirts. To take out this las, or take out this whole bolded thing, move it here. Las mujeres las llevan. The women wear them. The friends bought new earrings. Who or what did they buy? New earrings. It's going to go right here. Las amigas los compraron. And the last one, I wear 2 coats. I'm wearing the 2 coats. So, los dos abrigos takes the place, or it's going to be replaced with los llevo. Okay, you have a few more that are like practicing with just taking the sentence from English to Spanish. On some of them, like on one of them, on number 6, you have 2 lines. Whenever you have 2 verbs, and I can't believe I didn't put this farther up on the notes. whenever you have two verbs, your verb can go in one of two places. It can go either directly before the conjugated verb, or you can attach it to the second one. So if we look at number 6, let me just zip through here and bring it up. Okay, so like I began to read it. So I can either put my lo here at the beginning, because it can always go directly before the conjugated verb. That's never wrong. I began to read it. Or if it's attached to a second verb, or if there is a second verb, you can attach it to the second verb. Empecé a leerlo. I began to read it. You can only attach it to a second verb if there is a second verb. Okay? That's kind of the important part of that. If it's one verb, it can only go one place. If you have two verbs, it can go in two places. With these, there isn't a rule about like, oh, you use it at the beginning in these countries or in these circumstances, and you use it at the end in these countries and in these circumstances. Both are right. I don't care which one you use. What I do care about is that you don't put it in between. Okay? You're never going to split up your verb phrases. Whenever you have like, I want to do something, I'm going to do something, we are doing something. That verb phrase that always needs to stay together. You're never going to split it up. Okay. So I know that I zipped through these. Take back off. Pretend you didn't see them. Go through, write your sentences, and then we'll check your work when you're done. Okay. Number 1. Took them out. If I don't tell you what the them is, assume masculine, or the it. Los saque. Make sure you have your QU. He makes them if them are salads, which are ensaladas. Él las hace. So he makes them. Number 3, you bought it, the keychain, which is el llavero. So tú lo compraste. You bought it. They wore them, earrings, which are aretes. Ellos los llevaron. They wore them. Number 5, we sell them with if them are wallets, which are carteras. Las vendemos. Then we looked at number 6 together, so I'm not going to go over it again. Number 7, I see him. Lo veo. Number 8, y'all in Spain finished it. The homework, there should be other parentheses. So, vosotros la terminasteis. And you guys did talk about indirect object pronouns last year, but we're going to redo chapter 8b just to make sure that you know it really well. And so we're going to reintroduce indirect object pronouns next week. So if you have questions, shoot me an email. Let me know if you have questions about this, because I know DOPs like mess with your brains because they're not in the same order as in English. Let me know ASAP so I can help you. All right, have a good day. Adios.